Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast. Episode 23, Alternative Control, with me, George, and as always joined by Tom. Microsoft Kinect to my Kinect 4. How's it going?
Very good. I like what you did with the alternative control tile.
Well, you know, that's...
We're going to be having a look at...
It's how we do things. And Tom, I've had a thought. Normally we go on this real long diatribe about what we're going to tell people's coming up on the show. Let's break it down. They want to stick around because coming up in the news, we've got some Resident Evil content for them. Mm-hmm. Coming up in the feature, we're going to talk about the history of alternative controllers.
Yes.
Motion control and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to bounce into listener Stingray, and obviously everyone wants to stick around for that to listen to the listeners' pickups this week.
Yep.
And then we crawl like wounded animals into the section that is Stingray himself, drives up the drive, tells everyone about the new releases coming out this week. Then we end the show the way we open the show, where you ask me and I ask you what you're hoping to play. And the start of the show starts with me saying to you, what have you been playing?
I've been playing more Astral Chain. I feel like I'm getting quite close to the end of that now. I'm on 25 hours in. I heard it's about 20, so I must have done a fair few side
Big for a Game Boy Color game.
Game Boy Color. Listen to him. I can see one over there, funnily enough.
That's a Switch.
It
looks like the Game Boy Color. Oh. So you've been playing this Astral Chain. Let's find out about the LA Noire simulator as you described it last week, much to many listeners' raised eyebrows and split sides.
And your anger.
My furious anger. Is that part of the game elaborated anymore? Or what? Tell me.
Yeah, so one of the legions, one of the the creatures that you can control.
For this section, let's refer to them as Pokemon.
No, they're called Legion. He mocks listeners, but he wishes he has this game.
No.
He's told me, off air.
Oh, there's a substantiation of truth. Tom said it, so it must be true. Cut to the chase. All right, let's
don't make promises I can't keep.
Well,
you asked Daddy Zilla.
You're famous for that. Break it down. You've told him that you're playing Astral Chain.
Yeah.
Tell me the high points, and also tell me some of the low points.
High points, it's got a very epic feel, but the reversal of that is playing it on a small screen doesn't make it. It doesn't transition well to the small screen, I don't think. Unlike a lot of Switch games, you Fire Emblem, like a sort of tactical RPG that you can. It's sort of like a top-down view of looking at the map and such. And this is a big epic action game, and I think it plays a lot better on the big screen. I'd be curious to see. I know some of the hardcore fans have picked it up, so I'd be curious to see if you're playing it in handheld or on the TV or both. Really enjoying it. It is in the top 10 Switch games you can get, in my opinion.
Anything else that you've took a liking to? By the way, just rewind. Fire Emblem Three Houses, that's just lobbed in the lair pit now, is it?
No, I will get back to that. I'm on holiday next week, so I'll spend some time playing that, especially if I finish Astral Chain. And I need to make room for Link's Awakening, the remake.
The only man on the podcast that gets paid, the only man that gets more time off than Andy McNabb's safety catch.
That's how the A-listers roll, man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It is. That's how we roll. Plenty of holiday time. Look at Chris Evans. He was always off on Radio 2.
Yeah. No one ever remembers the
Commanded a massive fee as well.
No one ever remembers the person that filled in for him.
No, they don't.
No.
Yeah. Silent hero, mate.
What else have you been playing?
Nothing else. I've banned Overwatch on the PS4 because of some news which we'll get to. Just going back to Astral Chain, I just want to quickly talk about the different legions on there. So you've got the Sword Legion, Arm Legion, like a Gun Legion, a Beast, which is cool because he can help with the investigating.
There's something stuck in my throat.
What?
Like, I'm enjoying the Astral Chain conversation that we're having. But before we went into the Astral Chain conversation, you mentioned banning Overwatch on the PS4, and
he's still reeling in shock from that. We'll get to that, don't worry. It's going to be covered in the news. Yeah?
Yeah, it's in the news. Don't you worry. It's in there, as is your fireworks and confetti.
Pyros, I hope.
We couldn't afford those.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just bought some Roman candles.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Beast Legion, he can help track scents and dig up evidence if you need to. I do like the idea of these creatures that can help you out, and it's not Pokemon.
I know it's not.
It's so
I just have
different.
visions of this concrete utopia or this concrete Blade Runner world you've described to me, and this thing's digging up evidence.
Well,
What's
he's
it
digging
buried
up the ground.
in? Concrete.
Yeah, but it's like got digger hands.
I don't know anything about this game, so I just get these snapshots from you and I just see this craziness.
Like a great big Cat 360 just digging in. No problem.
So its hands are bulldozers or like digger scoops. Or he's just got big... How you
It's got
explained
big
it?
paws. It's got big paws.
Oh, the way
It's
you...
not like a living... They're really weird. Like, they're not creatures and they're not robots. So
well, when you first described it like that, I thought you were telling me it was some sort of robot that had, like, digger arms. But obviously that's not the case. You know, that sounded quite cool. Mm. The reality is it's a large bear.
No, definitely a cat. It's got a tail.
That can dig through concrete.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I thought that what I was saying was ridiculous.
And I've just got the last Legion, which is the Axe Legion. He kind of floats off the ground. He has a shield and like an axe and a bit more of a melee type.
Thank goodness you said axe, because when you said he flew off the ground, I was like, no axe? What does this mean?
Yeah. I think just buy it. It's good if you got a Switch, definitely.
You've had a good rumble on it now. You weren't too keen on slapping a score on this bad boy. You willing to jump off the fence and get some splinters in that backside of yours?
8.9 out of 10.
So it's better than Days Gone, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. That is...
The side missions on Days Gone, I'm sorry, are not its greatest strength. But the actual main game is very good.
Okay. Today's not a Days Gone
There'll be listeners going back to the Days Gone podcast going, wow, well, actually, on that episode...
Actually, Tom talks a lot of twaddle.
He certainly does.
Is that everything you've played?
Yeah, just Astral Chain this week.
Okay.
Keeping it simple. What have you been playing? Got there in the end?
Always a bit nervous that you're going to just dive deep into the news. What
Yeah.
have I been playing? Well, I'm going to surprise you. I had a weekend away.
Yes.
In a nice little place that we go to, a retreat, like a cabin in the woods, and we took the PS2 because we like that. And I've not played Jurassic Park Operation Genesis on anything other than the original Xbox. And I've got it on the PS2. And I thought, I'll take that. And I took Resi 4. And I know I've played Resi 4 before, not through to completion, but like when it was newish. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, it looks like quite an old game, especially on PS2, which out of the three of its generation,
Is it a park simulator again?
Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, yes.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 is like an over-the-shoulder camera.
Yeah.
Operation Genesis actually probably got the more play. 5-starter park, I got all the bits that you can unlock and poured more time into it than I should have done. Do you know what? Still enjoyable game. And from what I can work out, it's probably the equal as far as depth is concerned as the new one that came out on PS4. Because when I'd had a good go on it, I thought, I wonder what this is like on the bigger boy consoles.
Yeah.
And I did a bit of research, and the general consensus was it's okay, but it's not amazing.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis on the PS2 is okay, but it's not amazing.
So are you... I think I remember, is there a Spinosaurus on the front of the box?
Yeah, I think there is actually.
So it would have come out at a similar time to number 3 then, the film.
I don't know when it came out. It came out actually. It must have come out in 2003 or 4.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when the third one came out. It just it made me think because they put the Spinosaurus on the front of the box. So they were trying to tie in.
And there's some other games I've been playing. Like I said, Resident Evil 4.
Let's talk about that for one moment.
Okay.
Because I spoke to you about it on the phone this week, didn't I?
Yeah.
We were talking about when it originally came out, how amazing the graphics were.
Well, you tried to tell me that, yeah.
And you sort of didn't have that impression of it. Obviously, now you're seeing it later on.
I think that, obviously, like I said, I've played it before, but definitely not at launch. I don't know what machine it was that I played it on. Maybe Cube.
Yeah, so it was on Cube, PS. It's had so many re-releases.
It was on
as
Cube
well.
first, and
Yeah.
I personally feel at the time I did have a Cube kicking around. I think I probably picked it up,
Yeah.
but never really put that much.
I remember you saying you were, when I got it originally, you were like, I don't like the way they've gone from the fixed camera because it takes away some of the suspense because you can see them coming at you a lot easier on Resident Evil 4. But to me, it was more action oriented. The first Resident Evil I've played, I got it on Cube, and it is my favourite game on Cube by quite a long way.
Yeah, okay. Well, now all the magic has disappeared, and it's a game to be criticised like other games. It's feels like a broken light gun game. You get all the different villagers queuing up to slash at you.
Yeah.
Okay, level 1, they just all stand in a line and you go bam, 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 you work through them. Then they get a little bit more advanced, so they put baddies through to you that are more bullet sponges and they soak up bullets, but they literally just queue up for you to shoot them. And then a little bit later on in the game, they get given a little bit more AI and they start sort of weaving in a strange dance mode as you're about to shoot them. And as I said to you on the phone, when someone does that the first time, that's like, oh, that's quite clever. When two baddies approach you at the same time and do it like a dance, it looks ridiculous.
Well, I think they were probably aiming for like a resource management style of like make sure you've got enough ammo to fend off these enemies. Because I remember there's a mission set in a farmhouse where you're holding off you and another character holding off waves of enemies, and I did find that really good. It felt like I don't know, Assault on Precinct 13 style, or sort of what's the Day of the Dead and things like that.
Yeah.
So, rightfully so, it's probably not aged quite as well. And your light gun reference there is quite interesting because I rebought it on the Wii, Resident Evil 4, and it had like the motion control aim if you wanted to, and it does lend itself to that a little bit, but I know what you mean. It's a bit like shooting ducks in a barrel, isn't it?
Yeah, when I played it with the controller, the only thing that added a level of difficulty to the game, as far as I was concerned, was the lack of sensitivity of the controls. They were messy. You would swing all the way past the character you want to aim at, then you've got to drag the cursor all the way back round. That red laser dot, you can't sometimes see it. Sometimes it's painted on someone if they're at a distance, but you can't tell. And again, I'm nitpicking. This game's, 15 years old?
Yeah.
So, fair play to it. It does still look pretty good in places. And at the time, it would have looked incredible.
It's certainly set the standard for a lot of over-the-shoulder games, hasn't it? Action games, Gears of War being one of them.
Well, the other game...
Future Resident Evils.
The other game I played, which I've poured some time into on another machine, this time I decided I was going to download the PSP version of Warriors from the Sony
The Rockstar one, or the one I was telling you about?
That one you were telling me about doesn't exist. So I downloaded the Rockstar port for... Calm down, dear. I downloaded it. Why did I do that to myself?
Sorry.
What?
You just made me laugh then. I remember my mum telling my brother something once, and he just turned around like that, like you certain in your head, it's like, I know my own life.
I know my own life.
Yeah, that's going to be the answer from now off.
I know my own PlayStation Vita, and I took the time to download the PSP port, which you can download a lot of PSP games on the Vita Marketplace. And I downloaded Warriors to play. But you know what? It runs so well on the PSP. You can suspend it any time as well on the PSP, which you couldn't do on the other one. And the game has been changed to work on a portable console, because every time it goes into a loading screen, it goes into an autosave. When I played it on PS2, I remember there being an awful long amount of play time before you could save. That's the killer of a portable game, because if you get on the bus and you're trying to get off, and it's like, don't turn me off because I haven't saved.
So, like the Switch, there's a suspend mode where
on the Vita,
you can just
Yeah, and you could on the PSP, but it wasn't as.
There's no way you can like turn it back on easily, and I don't know. It's in your pocket, and you catch
the PSP maybe, but the Vita's
Yeah.
like no. It's when you lock it down like that.
Yeah.
It's just in chill mode, and you need to swipe the screen to open it back up again. First of all, you need to press the PlayStation button like you would on the controller.
Yeah.
Then it kind of comes into life a little bit more, and it displays the screen, and then you've got to swipe the screen down to get back into the Vita.
So, how do you feel Warriors holds up now?
It wasn't that long ago I was playing it on PS2 and having a
Yeah.
thoroughly awesome time.
Were you playing co-op or
No, just on my own. And I'm sorry. And then the PSP or Vita version that I've played,
Yeah.
I actually think is a finer work of art. I think it actually plays better on there.
Yeah.
It's when you steal the radios and you wind in the controls round, it feels very Liberty City. No, what was
It's
it?
a long time since I've played
GTA
it.
Chinatown. It feels very like that, when
right,
you're
okay.
smashing the glass
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're getting the thing out. And again, it's all sort of using the controls, but it looked good on there as well. You know that opening menu of the Warriors where it's the neon
Wonder Wheel.
big wheel, yeah, and you can see it in the wind. And then it sort of rolled through the video, which I think is like using PS2 assets, and they're using it as a cutscene in the game. It all just looked great. And the Vita screen made it absolutely pop.
Yeah.
So I'll put some more time into that. Yakuza, before you ask, I've not played it. I don't even know what it is.
We're good this week, aren't we? Good boys. No Yakuza, no Overwatch.
We managed to fit them in anyway. So in a way, we say we're not going to mention them, and at the same
But we
time,
have.
by doing so, we do.
Anyway, that's got to be the longest what we've been playing for a while. But
25
hopefully
minutes.
you
I'm joking. Don't panic. Tom, it's time for the news. One of the reasons why people turned up, we gave them the little preamble. We said there's going to be some Resident Evil news, and they've all hung on to this point. We've scoured the very darkest region of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, I'll take this.
Go for it.
All right.
Seeing as we're on topic with Resident Evil?
Seeing as I have to give you like a king's speech at the end, if I don't take this first one, you're going to read all of the news apart from the fluff piece. So, Evil Rises. Project Resistance is the new title from Capcom, set in the Resident Evil universe. The game is set to be team-based survival experience with co-op gameplay for you and 3 others. Interestingly, the zombies and other enemies appear to be controlled by another character in a room, pushing buttons, levers, and at one point puts on some electronic gloves that appear to control a dreaded robotic version of the Tyrant. Could this other character be a playable one? With you trying to take out 4 of your friends? Will we get to find out next week, Tokyo Game Show, where a gameplay demo will be shown? Tom?
That was expertly written and expertly read, I must say.
Okay, well, the backslapping probably safer off there, but thank you, I'll take that. What's your thoughts on that? Because what we do here is we read out a news section and we think about how that's going to be important to the listeners, and we try and break out the bits for them to worry about.
So I watched the trailer for this.
Not seen it yet.
No, it looked quite good. I think when people heard there was like a Resident Evil trailer or news coming, we're all hoping for like the next entry in the main franchise. But this looks to be a.
Do you think
an
this left
offshoot
them
of that.
feeling a little burnt out? Like, oh, is that it?
No, because
What's the consensus down on there amongst the geeks?
I guess it'd be nice to have a co-op sort of title.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of maybe it's going to be a bit like that Predator game they showed.
You've never played Resident Evil 6?
I played 4, 5 and 6.
Those 2, 5 and 6 were co-op.
Oh, of course they were.
Again, I
Sorry, I meant like 4-player, very...
I just lob it out there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
you think, is this
multiplayer
there,
based.
so we can break this down to the listeners, maybe the PC listeners in their thousands.
Yeah.
Is this more a Left 4 Dead style game?
It did have that impression in the trailer, doesn't it?
I haven't seen it, and I know I'm naughty, but I've been away.
Left 4 Dead was great, 1 and 2.
Yeah, it was a good
really
game.
Good. So hopefully it takes a few notes out there. Interesting, the idea that it's going to be a bit cabin in the woods, possibly, with like an overseer controlling all of these enemies.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
Yeah,
If that
I
was
thought that's
player
a nice
control-
way to take it, like just do something different.
Well, as I'll always say, playing devil's advocate, Capcom could have done something different. Did it need the Resident Evil name?
That's a good point. I suppose, obviously, in the trailer we see the enemies and we're like, oh, that's a so-and-so, that's a so-and-so. We know it's,
Yeah, but it didn't have to
it's
be,
safe.
did it? It is safe. And I like the idea. I just wonder if, branch... Because we've had games like this before that never succeeded well because they were branded as, like, not very good... Do you remember Outbreak and Survivor?
Yes, yeah.
They were okay games, but they never really got the sort of fly they needed because they were always viewed through the lens of, is this a good Resident Evil game, yes or no? Well, no, it's not.
That's a good point. Like, it would take some of the pressure off, wouldn't it? I think people tend to back new IPs a lot because... Going quickly back to Astral Chain, people are waiting for Bayonetta 3, and they're like, listen, Bayonetta 3, oh no, let's give it a chance, it's a new IP, it's done really well. I think it's probably a topic for a feature one day, but like, taking those big risks is a big chance on even a large company like Capcom. So... There's a lot of money to lose nowadays, and I think that worries people about putting out new ideas.
Okay. Well, before everyone at Capcom goes out and commits Harry-Carry, which is the correct term, on their sacrificial swords, you got any other news? You got some news yourself?
I have, yeah.
What you got?
So, with the recent Nintendo Direct, SNES games are now available for the Switch, but only to those of you who have a Switch Online subscription.
James worked really hard on the headline. Don't think you can go in and out without reading it out.
SNES on the go-go.
I like that.
Do you like that?
I do.
I was trying to think of when I wrote that what it meant, but
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter, does it?
No, just give him his piece.
I will. Like the NES games before, Nintendo decided to share 20 classic titles for us to enjoy. This includes Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and a few more obscure titles such as Stunt Race FX. Did you ever play that back in the day?
Of course I did. I think I've bored you to death about how my friend got it and had to get he got an import.
Oh, yes.
And he got an adapter and you had to clag another game in the back and clag this thing on top.
Yeah.
And I think he'd spent quite a lot of money to try to convince me and everybody else that it was okay. Only okay.
Yeah.
And the game was average at best.
But with this news, sadly, new SNES titles won't be released every month, but Nintendo did promise some will arrive at random points in the future. Well, that's classic Nintendo, isn't it? One step forward, two steps back.
I thought they promised all these were coming out. They went down and
so
gave you their word, Tom.
No, I've been up to see how Shigsy, and he's backtracking real fast.
All right.
One day we'll get him on the show, won't we?
Well, he's your mate, so you get him on.
Yeah, I'll have a word. Yeah. So originally they do the NES games like they do one or two a month, I think it is. I've never paid much attention to them because I didn't have a NES and I'm not overly fussed about playing a lot of them. The SNES I've got a little bit more interest in, and there's a few titles on there I want to try. Is it called Demon Crest or something? A spin-off of Ghouls and Ghosts.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not big into that franchise.
It just looked quite interesting. I'm curious to see what other titles they're going to bring for the SNES, really. They seem to have covered most of the main sort of first-party stuff already. With those.
Are there only 20 good first-party games for the SNES? Yes.
Well, they're not all first-party that are on there now, but I think, obviously, licensing issues are going to cause some problems with some of our favourites, Super Star Wars.
You might get that.
It'd be good if we did.
There's no reason for them to say no.
I remember there being a really good cricket game on there as well. But I doubt we'll see that.
I was going to say, Tom, pick something that's got a chance. Like, I'm going to write to Nintendo and complain that we're not getting Fred Dibner's Steam Rally on the SNES. Like, that's going to be a worldwide hit.
It would be in our eyes, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would.
God bless Fred.
God bless Fred. Is this the third part of the news?
Sorry, I'll just go back to that. Would you play those? Let's say you had a Game Boy Color, as you call it. Would you play any of those SNES games? Would that be enough to incentivise?
That wouldn't be enough to incentivise me to buy one, and it certainly wouldn't be enough to incentivise me to buy one and double down on the Switch Online and subscription. I think that's a big ask.
Yeah.
So it's not. Unless someone's insane, they're not going to walk along the street, look into game, and go, "Oh, great! Yeah, I'll buy that nearly £300 console because I can then spend another £30 and get a free SNES game."
Yeah,
not going to happen. If I was on the periphery of thinking about getting one, which I'm not, so calm down and pour cold water on yourself, chastise yourself with nettles. Maybe one day I'll fulfill you that dream, but we're not there yet. If I was on the periphery, this sort of news might pull me out the trees, but don't forget, as you like to remind everyone, I'm a hardcore Ninty fan. Don't you think I've already played and owned these games already 20 times over? Don't you think they weren't already bought on the Wii? Don't you think they're already bought on previous consoles that dared to have an online marketplace? What are they doing, Tom? And explain to me why it's taken so long to get these third-rate 16-bit games on what's hailed to be a powerful modern console. What's the hold-up here?
Yeah, I told you it was coming. I said they were going to do those for the...
Yeah, but so's Christmas. And with enough patience, it will arrive.
No, because what they're trying to do is get another load of subscribers to Switch Online because it's the year anniversary. And I said that would happen. But my argument is, and I know we've got a lot of retro fans on the show, why do I want to play Mario Kart on the SNES when I can play Mario Kart 8? Why do I want to play Zelda: A Link to the Past? I get nostalgia.
You did use exactly
retro.
the opposite side of this argument to counter something that you said last week.
What's that?
What side of the fence are you sitting on? Do you like new games or not?
I love new games.
What do you think about old games?
They're all right.
But you're not going to go and play them, are you?
Not really, no.
See, to me, that's like... You've had a go on most of these games.
That's what I mean. Like I put it on, and I'll explain why I've got Switch Online in a moment. But
oh, really?
With the next bit of news. But the excitement.
I can't wait. More Switch.
Yeah, I just think... Right, I put it on, great, nostalgia for 10 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, I might as well go back to my, brand new, shiny game.
Okay.
I'm fickle like that, very fickle.
You are?
New and shiny.
I tried to pin you down on this last week, and you started shooting around like a greased weasel.
I'm a new Land Rover Defender guy, not an old one. What do you think to that? Have you seen it?
Well, I'm glad that you've settled down with a wife already, because otherwise we'd have doubts. And on that subject,
done up like a kipper.
On that subject, breaking the fourth wall. So I'll come out of character and assume my proper grown-up broadcasting voice. I've been sent by Tom's agent a little statement to read out on his behalf. So I will, here it is. The man in the know was right again.
You forgot the headline, same as me.
Okay. So apologies to Tom's agent. And now his watch begins. The man in the know was right again. Last week he promised Overwatch was coming to the Switch, and the Nintendo Direct delivered the news Tom had been dreaming of. Game of the Year 2016 Overwatch arrives on Nintendo Switch on the 15th of October with motion controls, an added extra for the Joy-Cons, and running at 30 frames per second. This is one to keep an eye out for next month when it melts your Switch. Tom, I've gone out there...
You're wasted here. You should be a professional reader.
I'm wasted.
Audiobooks.
Do you notice when I put on the actual proper broadcast voice...
We actually sound like a very good podcast.
I nailed it. When I'm doing when I assume the character of George, I'm all over the place. You say you're a method actor? I really am. What do you make of that? Well done, by the way, and thanks for Tom's agent for sending in that very scripted statement that legally I wasn't allowed to deviate from, though I did add about the Switch melting because I couldn't help myself at the end.
No, it's certainly going to push it to its
limits. You were right again. But is the Switch going to be able to run... Now, I know you're going to get up and draw your Hyrulean sword and threaten me to a duel outside. I'm not daring for a moment to imagine that I'm mocking the Switch in any way. But are we to assume that Overwatch on the Switch is going to support cross-platform play?
No, it's not going to. They've come out and said it won't support cross-platform play at the moment. Maybe something they'll do in the future, but as far as they're aware, Blizzard have said no, it's not. Which is probably a good thing, because if you think the game's been out since 2016 on PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox, if you go up against someone with a mouse and keyboard, you're in for a world of hurt, and you're there with your Joy-Cons trying to do...
Well, PS4 players and Xbox players play Switch players, PC players?
I don't know whether they can.
You'd imagine Xbox definitely could.
Yeah.
I haven't researched anything about the game because I have no feelings for it one way or the other.
I believe some people obviously play it on PS4 as well. Some people play with mouse and keyboard on PS4.
Let's support it.
Yeah. I've never really seen the point, but that's up to the individual. Yeah, so I have downloaded this, like pre-downloaded it, and the reason I got the SNES games is because with Overwatch,
It's not out till the 15th of October, mate.
the hype was real.
I'm sure it was.
No, it has gone. I think it's gone up in price though now because they were offering a deal with 3-month online subscription. Again, Overwatch coming out trying to incentivize people to get the online. But I thought it was a good deal. I think $35.99 with 3 months Switch Online.
Just feel like a frightfully good deal.
For the amount of hours I'll put into that, I know that's worth it. Very curious to see how it's going to run. So obviously the PS4 version's still in the background.
Delete.
In case everything goes...
Grow a set of man grapes and delete it.
The PS4 one?
Yeah.
I need to. I was trying to download Arkham Knight the other day for the free game of the month.
I think we should send Reverend, I don't know...
Lovejoy round.
Lovejoy round to... Oh my goodness gracious me. What an
Oh God, that Simpsons character, isn't it? We can't have that.
You know, we got legal.
Legal.
Not legal on the phone again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reverend, whatever his last name is, right? He needs to come round and exercise the Overwatch
Reverend
demons.
Potts.
All right, well, I didn't know that was his name. I just call him Reverend or Padre.
Padre.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got that out of the way. Statement's been read. I can go back into my normal voice. The legal part of that bit that we agreed with your agent is complete. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Has that read through?
I'm very happy. Yeah. We haven't said much more about the Nintendo Direct because it is almost old news now. We thought those were a couple of highlights. Let us know if we've missed anything.
Well, to that end, Tom, did we miss anything? Do you have an opinion or take on the news we missed? So how, Tom, if we have missed an opinion or a take on the news, well, that's 100% correct. How would the collective masses interact with us and say, you're a flaming plonker, mate? How would they let us know that we weren't very good at it?
I'm waiting for that. We haven't had anyone pan us yet, have we? I'm really hoping for someone to give us both barrels.
There's nothing here but love.
There is, yeah, we're very lucky. So you can reach us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com and you can direct messages on Twitter or Instagram and also check out the YouTube page. While we're on the subject...
Oh, hang on a minute,
No,
Tom.
we're not doing YouTube.
The show started, Lord Ponsonborough's in the high chair.
I was just about to get to that.
Oh, well,
Don't
tell
you
me.
worry.
Tell me.
Well, the hardcore have been at it again, really promoting the show.
Well, Tom...
Massive thank you.
Please refer to their elite commando raiding unit by its official name. It's
The Inglorious Bar Stewards.
Unglorious Bar Stewards. I was thinking, Lord Ponsonborough's up there. He's like, the show's living or dying. We have to keep him happy on a minute-by-minute basis at the moment. We've got one more week of this to run. We've assembled now the crack commando unit.
Soldiers of Fortune.
The Soldiers of Fortune. Now, one must wonder, at the moment, they've been individually doing some good stuff. They've been sharing posts. Let's step our game up. The Unofficial Controller Commando Unit. Get ready, boys. It's time for your first raid. Our victim. Let's pick a celebrity. Ross Kemp. Or another one. Let's think of a gaming celebrity that we can hound. The Unofficial Controller Squad unit can go, DMs, retweets, absolutely abuse them with Unofficial Controller tat to the point where they get furious.
Jeff Keighley.
Who's that?
The host of Gamescom, and he does a lot of big shows as a game awards. So
Okay,
he would be a good
so what
target.
we're saying, so we're not
He's
gonna,
your target.
We're not picking a third-rate British celebrity who used to be in EastEnders or Emmerdale or any of that. We're going straight to Jeff Keighley. If
You asked for a gaming, we could go Cliffy B or I don't know.
I don't know. If Jeff Keighley's what came out of your mouth, I feel proud enough and respectful enough of the crack unit that we've developed that they can take Keighley down. They can deconstruct him like a Lego.
He's pretty busy with Tokyo Game Show, I think.
What we need you to do, guys, because this is a bit of fun. At the end of the day, if he blocks you, I'm sorry. Right? Hound him. Keep doing all what you're doing. Let me first of all say that it touches us. And I hope that I can express enough in the DMs and bits and bobs that we've got going on how much you guys' efforts mean to us. And just so you know, it has real world results. We are uber grateful. Ponsonborough is happy.
I don't swear him.
We've got one more week to go of him in the high chair. Possibly that might be the last week. All right?
He ain't got Herr Crowther with him this week.
Me on my own versus Ponce. This is going to be tough. Anyway, Jeff Keighley is our target. Like, share, get your grands to subscribe, steal your kid brother's phone, log into podcast, subscribe, put it back in his pencil case.
Yeah, we get real close to the top 10 of the charts most weeks now, but we really want to crack that top 10.
We want to be in it, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Is Jeff
Because
Keighley...
it'll make us more relevant and more people aware of us.
So focus. We want everybody to find Jeff Keighley on social media and badger him for retweets and to prop the show.
Yes.
The Commando unit have got their orders. Make sure you've understood what the orders are, listeners, because in 30 seconds, they will self-destruct. Mm-hmm. Now we've had the self-indulgent waffle. We've had the news. We've asked each other kind of what we've been playing. Tom, pick of the week, alternative control, feature. This is one that you were very emotional about. Here we go then. Why don't you do the first bit?
This week's feature is a discussion about the history of alternative controllers in games. As always, you guys got in touch to share those wiggle-waggle gaming memories to add a real personal touch to the story.
To share those what?
Wiggle-waggle.
I like it. We all know about motion controls, right? But do we? With Nintendo Stealth dropping its new fitness tracker device for the Switch, we thought we'd take a look back at the history of alternative controllers. Wheel out your tap, your grandma's wee tenders, shake off those cobweb-ridden dance mats, fruitlessly wave at the Sega activator and pull the Kinect out the lair pit. It's time to delve in. As always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we want to bring you the Genesis point. Tom?
Pulling on the unofficial controller Deerstalkers, as we've dusted those off, we find once again Sega going into bat first. Classic. Good old boys. Far as motion control is concerned, with their arcade fighting game Heavyweight Champ in 1976. Some form of rudimentary punching fighting game where the player adopts the role of a pugilist using a boxing glove style controller from what we can see to punch where they wanted to hit. Actually pretty cool.
Sega, as always, trying their hand at something a little bit different in the arcade. Sega would also incorporate move or motion input into its arcade division with games like Hang On, where you use the bike to obviously steer the on-screen avatar of the bike, and the seated Thunderblade.
Oh, I love that.
The tech from the Thunderblade, almost in our eyes, got pared down and implemented in Sega's Action Chair. An interesting, though very hard to get working and worse than actual controllers, a theme that kind of hangs around the alternative controller story, Tom, like mud on a state gamekeeper Herr Crowther's boots.
Yeah, certainly does.
Talking of the chair,
we've got Odders UK.
Yeah, current reigning unofficial controller champion. He's there with the smoking skulls belts.
He is.
Downing a couple of bottles of milk. PG podcast that it is. What's he got to say about that awful Sega Action Chair that we talked about?
Well, he goes to say, growing up, I knew a lad who owned the Sega Action Chair. Well, it was technically his brother's. It was a chair mapped to the Mega Drive controller. Leaning and moving the seat, the left and right would control the D-pad, and the buttons on the cheap foam handles would mimic A, B, and C. The use of it, however, extended solely to sitting. It was never used to actual gaming, which is a shame. I reckon playing Streets of Rage via the Action Chair and using your bottom to move Axel, Max, Blaze, or Skate would have been an experience and a laugh.
Probably would have taken a couple of layers of skin off your backside, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one of these Sega Action Chairs, Tom?
I haven't, no.
You remember the cheap stacking chairs at school? Plastic ones?
Yeah.
That seat, pretty much paired to metal of the same thickness and tubular style as the...
Optimal comfort, then?
Oh, 100% tailored for comfort.
No expense spared.
And then it was basically, someone must have took a Mega Drive pad apart and nailed that to the bottom of the seat. So when you rolled around on it, it rolled around on the controller. I never had the full... I've seen one in real life, and it looked like the cheapest bit of tat you've ever seen in your life. I didn't know what it was at first, and I got a bit closer, I was like, oh, God, this is a Sega Action Chair. Oh, God. Anyway,
not up to their usual quality. Then usually they've.
I personally think it was
well-made
something
things.
that they saw some legs in. I don't think it. Oh yeah, it wasn't a joke, but I'll take it. Score that one up for hilarity. I think that it was an idea that started off with them, and they paired it out to a third party who came up with the action chair. I don't know. It might be Sega penned. It just like the seat looks like a component that already exists in seats.
Yeah.
The metal that it's sort of bent out of is the same metal as the metal that the chair legs are made out of from those stacking chairs. One wonders if they just went out to someone and said, "Can you make us this?" Because we don't really know anything about chairs. Anyway, once Sega had a go, as always, Nintendo wandered onto the scene to try and bring a new way to play to the market with a power pad fitness mat, pretty much a dance pad. So while we're here, we'll take the Genesis point for that. This was also followed up with the Immortal Power Glove in 1989. Made famous by Fred Savage in The Wizard, itself an innovative piece of tech containing glass rods that shatter every time you move your fingers. So this thing did have a finite lifespan, unfortunately. For one response, and you waved your hand in the air to, let's face it, badly control the games that actually had gone out their way to support said action glove. You ever seen one in real life, or is that just
Yeah,
one
I
of
have
those?
seen one of those. They look quite bizarre. I think, briefly touching on, I don't know whether we're going to get to it later, but having one-handed controllers is important for some people. I think it's something nice.
I never went down that route.
Okay, so yeah, it's been nice to see some companies recently, Microsoft doing that controller with the pads on.
But is that an alternative controller, or is that an accessible controller?
It depends how PC we want to be on the UC.
Well, we're always very PC on the UC.
We are. So yeah, I think they were probably maybe taking that approach,
Okay.
giving a way to play.
Well, I'm gonna take the next bit, if I may, because I owe the listeners an apology. Next on the scene, as with all these control inputs, the flawed Sega activator, Tom. Now, apologies, listeners, but I've ramped on about how I thought that was some crude infrared beams beaming in the air. But get this, and without ripping one apart to prove it, Tom, and if one of the listeners has got one of these fine devices, I implore them to rip it apart. The Sega activator, which is a way of interacting in a 3D space with a fighting game. We've talked about it
discussed this,
before.
didn't we, on the Mega Drive
I imagined it was just infrared beams firing up out the floor and you could put your hand through them to break them. I was wrong. It's actually the light harp invented by Asaf Gurner, being released for the Mega Drive or Genesis, if you prefer, in 1993. It could read the player's physical movements and was the first controller to allow full body motion sensing. However, it was a commercial failure once again due to its unwieldiness and inaccuracy. Tom, I think you've got someone there who's had some experience with the Sega activator.
Yeah. Happy Joysticks has chimed in. Thanks for that. How about we talk about the one in your picture, which
so
was seen on the post on Instagram?
That's right. Someone having a crane kick in a Sega activator. Good luck with that.
My brother and I saved up our money and bought the Sega activator after seeing some commercials where they suggested you could do fighting moves and that would translate into on-screen actions for Eternal Champions. Well, after settling up, calibrating it and watching the instructional VHS tape, we quickly realised this was nowhere near as cool as we thought it would be. Once we started playing, we also found that the best way to play the thing was to sit or kneel in the ring and just wave your hand over whichever sensor you needed to. It was total junk and it was soon packed and put away to never be used again. So now I still have a mint Sega activator in box.
Yeah, I think based
I wonder
on...
what that's fetching on eBay.
Probably £15. I have visions of happy joysticks. Like, this is why I always assumed it was a very rudimentary piece of tech. The fact that it's actually based on this light harp, which is next level stuff.
Well, how interesting that we still see it as a commercial failure, but it's the first stepping stones towards motion controls that have been successful.
Well,
I think that's the way VR is going.
Well,
obviously.
let's have a look. So, failing on consoles, more than likely because there must have been a cost ratio to manage. The tech got pared down, but with more budget to play with, Sega managed to more successfully introduce the technology in the arcades, and it's a mouthful, with Dragon Ball Z VR VS in 1993. It used extra sensors to pull off better reaction sensing than was possible with the Mega Drive console, making this Dragon Ball Z game the first successful example of full body motion sensing in a video game.
Wow. I always forget how old Dragon Ball is.
That was 1993 getting an arcade game, so around in the 80s.
Another early motion sensing device was the Sega VR headset, first announced in 1991. It featured built-in sensors that track the player's movement and head movement. Though it was never officially released, similar VR machines by Sega were demonstrated at Sega World Arcade several years later. Sega weren't quite done with motion controls, and with the arcade and Dreamcast games Sega Bass Fishing and Samba de Amigo with their unique control methods.
And in chiming in, we have loyal, new, well, not new anymore, deeply part of the family, and probably just got themselves promoted into the unofficial controller Commando Squad. But Eslo and Midner says, is there a better novelty controller than the Samba de Amiga Maracas that came with the game on the Dreamcast? I played a lot of that when it came out. What an incredible game. There's never really been anything else come close. The version on the Wii was okay at best. The remotes did a job, but not as precise as the OG Maracas for living out your dreams of being Ricky Martin in a Rio de Janeiro nightclub. The Dreamcast also had the Sega fishing rod, which could strangely, and fact here, Eslo Midner, be used quite well as a sword in Soul Calibur. Did you ever diverge into that and have a go on that, Tom?
I haven't, no.
Well, dig out your Dreamcast.
You had the Sega fishing rod, didn't you?
Yeah.
On the Dreamcast, yeah.
I mean, you are wildly swinging this thing around to get any action in Soul Calibur, but it does kind of work. So, you know, we'll take that. It's in the Dreamcast community, it's well known. You can have a game of Soul Calibur with a fishing rod.
On the subject of the Sega Dreamcast fishing rod, Doogie McBain's been in touch.
Oh,
another
father
member
of the immortal 2-year-old. Game Boy Matty is the... well, actually, we're going to get to this, but just in case we don't get to it, guess which loyal listener's birthday is, I believe, by the time they hear this, today.
Happy birthday, Devin Zilla.
Yes, Tom.
I do my research.
Good lad. Well done.
Yeah, happy birthday, big man.
Yes.
And enjoy your day. Or evening as it is now, probably.
Thank you to all the family, the Zillas, for listening. And we'll get to that because I do believe we're going to get to peruse some of Devin Zilla's fine birthday presents.
Excellent.
And gaming pickups from the week.
Yeah. So, back to Doogie McBain. He goes on to say, how about that Sega Dreamcast fishing rod controller? Used to love using that with Sega Bass Fishing. I spent hours at a time playing this with a friend trying to get the biggest catch of the night. Ironic that we grew up in a village. I love this. I read this the other day. Ironic that we grew up in a village on the river where every house was granted a free fishing permit, but that would mean going outside and getting fresh air. No thanks. I think that's up there at the moment.
Gas gamer problems, that is.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Fishing. You do know. It's the sort of thing your mum would say. You do know we've got a fishing licence and run on the back gate. Like, yeah, but it's no way near.
Yeah, but you know me, don't you? What happened when I got Red Dead, and you know how I like to live the games. I remember being up.
I don't think this is.
Remember being up Scaffold Pike, and you going, "Are you climbed up that mountain to be like Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda?" It's like, yeah.
Exactly. But I don't think the fans...
Play the game, live the game.
They don't know. They don't know about this. So at some point in time in the near future, Tom, you're going to have to let them know the full story of the whole shenanigans with you living the life of the game.
That I'm currently playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Doogie. Big fan of the Dreamcast fishing rod controller myself, and I love a bit of Sega Bass Fishing. Believe it or not, as hardcore a fan of the Dreamcast I am, not back in the day nor since have I owned the Samba de Amiga control set. I played it, I think it must have been in the arcade, because I think I played it there. Great game. And as for Doogie, you know, can't fault you, mate. Why would you leave your front room in the warmth to go outside and shiver and catch a nasty pike that's going to spear you with its nasty bits and just generally be a disgusting mess on the floor? Let's have a look at this. Konami later made significant strides in the arcades. Their Bimini line of arcade music games revived the arcade popularity of motion control with the likes of Dance Dance Revolution. And Tom, let's face it, who hasn't played one of those?
Yeah, certainly.
Was that an admission by you, or you played one?
No.
Which is it, yes or no? Have you played a DDR?
I'm doing it again.
You are?
I've not. played
That's the sensible answer I would look to from you. You've never played a Dance Dance Revolution game. You've not even had to go on a dance mat in your house. On
one of the fold-out things. I don't know what it was for.
All right.
I thought it was a bizarre game of Twister.
So you've played. Well, it's a PG podcast. You better leave that there because I think I know that the night you're referring to.
Oh, that was Rock Band. I don't know if you remember that story.
No, well, just so you know, you probably need to keep wet wipes near your gaming peripherals. Ozcat's chimed in. He says, my favourite obscure controller is my Final Fantasy X2 twin bean gun controllers. They make gaming incredibly hard. Good old Ozcat. Though my favourite old controller story is when I was in high school. I had a challenge amongst my friends to be the first person to beat Inferno on the hardest setting on Soul Calibur. I won by using a Dance Dance Revolution pad and using Yoshimitsu, two things that should never work. But yeah, that's my story. That's
another great comment. Yeah,
good work, Ozcat.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick up on that next bit?
The 2000 light gun shooter arcade game Police 911, which used full body motion sensing technology via camera to detect the player dodging and taking cover, which are fairly accurately reflected by the player within the game. I do remember that name, but I can't picture the game.
Oh, I don't think you would. It's pretty standard fare, to be honest with you. I don't think it stands out, but it was the first one to bring that sort of tech in with the camera. So
cool.
we had, as James said, work experience boy, right to the script. It's a solid point. Well made. Let's leave it in. Okay, James.
Why not?
In 2003, Sony released their own motion detecting device for home consoles, the iToy, using a camera and PS2 tech to block out the player from the background so the player could interact with on-screen elements. Did you have an iToy?
Yeah, my brother did.
Yeah. I've got one.
They're very bizarre, aren't
Less
they?
said, soonest mended.
Yeah.
I never really was able to get it to work back in the day, and I recently plugged one back in. I thought to myself, do you know what? This probably wasn't half bad. It was half bad.
Yeah.
Motion controllers using accelerometers are used as controllers for video games, which was popularised in 2006 by Nintendo's Wii Remote, which uses accelerometers to detect its approximate orientation and acceleration. It serves an image sensor so you can use it as a pointing device. It was followed by other similar devices, including Sony's PlayStation Move, which also uses magnetometers to track the Earth's magnetic field, and computer vision via the PlayStation Eye or the PS4 camera to aid in position tracking, which is a really great motion control system and suitable enough to graph straight over into tech they use in conjunction with the Move ones for the PSVR headset. We need to remember that. PSVR headset is a Move controller with a screen stuck on the inside of it. Simple as that.
I think it's very important, isn't it, to like you can trace these technologies back, and there's an entry point, as we've specified on a lot of these, and it's amazing to see how far they've come, and it's exciting to hopefully see what the future holds.
Well,
especially for VR. I think there's so much potential in that.
Well, if they keep using that tracking method, I've never found it wholly inaccurate. In fact, when I've used the moves on PS3, calm yourself now for one moment. Right. Just take a sip of your drink. The Move ones are way better than the Wiimotes. Breathe.
What about a Wii Motion Plus?
I've not really directly compared the two.
There is quite a good difference between.
But the PlayStation Move straight out the bat without bolting a dildo to the bottom of it is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's us ticking the explicit lyrics. I think get away with that. If you're wondering what that is,
it's an add-on for the Wii Remote.
It is. You don't need it though. No. You don't need that in your collection.
And don't get any pickups on those either. You don't want second hand.
No, you don't. No. Tom, do you want to... Finster Gamers got in touch.
We
from
better move
Finster Games. We had. I think we've put ourselves into a literal dead end with that line. You'd want to read his first comment out, and I think it's only right and proper I'll read his second comment out.
Vince the Gamer, I love the novelty of instrument controls for Guitar Hero Rock Band. The one for Guitar Hero on the DS was very strange. It's not the easiest thing to play a guitar the size of one of your hands with both hands. For an extra challenge on any game, plug in an instrument. I believe I heard about a guy who finished Dark Souls on the hardest difficulty using a Rock Band drum kit. Good comment.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, I have heard that story. And I think it's a true fact.
Have you ever seen one of the DS controllers for the...
I haven't. No, when you mentioned this, I was Googling the image of it.
The sort of thing that Gotham have got in their tap box upstairs for 10p. It's a shame. I think it was a good idea if you've got a DS and you're on the move and if you really have to play a Rock Band or Guitar Hero game, I guess they've got you covered.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you can't hold off looking like you're playing a digital ocarina, but no noise is coming out on the bus, I think you're probably best holding off until you get hold of the real Rock Band instrument. But he's got another comment, Tom.
Vince the Gamer, it goes on to say...
It would only be right and proper that you read his first comment, listen, and I read his second comment.
Okay.
Careful.
Go for it.
Hand him a loaded gun. First thing he's going to do is shoot you in the foot and deny he even knew it was loaded. Let's face it, the best controllers are the unofficial controllers, and it's what you do with them that counts. I came up with that. Totally didn't steal it from anywhere.
I heard he's using that tagline in his shop as well.
He probably... As if Finster Games wasn't already a hotbed of iniquity in the town, him shuffling things out the back door to Stingray. If he's stealing our taglines, Finster Gamer, challenge you to a duel. This is a glove. I've degloved myself. Either side.
Is it the Nintendo Power Glove?
I don't want to challenge him to a duel Nintendo Power Glove, Tom, because I want to face him alive. I don't want to knock him out with a 6-ton glove.
Is it like Thanos' gauntlet?
That's what the Power Glove's like, yeah. You don't want to get smacked around the chops with one of those. No, I'm taking off a delicate gentleman's glove and I'm slapping it either side of Finster Gamer's face and I'm throwing it on the floor and I'm saying, if you use that in your shop, challenge you to a duel. Any game, any console. Just set myself up for a big lose. Finster Gamer's awesome at games. And I'm average at best. But, it's our property. I'll defend it.
You take the next bit. Because I'll do the listener.
Okay. It's a good one, that is. Other systems use different mechanisms for input, such as Microsoft's Kinect accessory. It's only right and proper I read this one out.
Name and shame.
Which uses a combination of infrared structured light and computer vision and the Sixth Sense True Motion, which uses magnetic field to determine position. My rape alarm, just back off, Tom. Determine position and orientation. Unfortunately, pared down so much from the prototype, when it made it into homes, Tom, it was terrible. Now, I went so far as redesigning my whole lounge / gaming room around the Kinect. Light entering the room, making sure it's obscured, positioning the console in a totally different place, removing furniture from the room, rearranging where the sofas are, rearranging the whole gaming area. And after
you go deep, don't you?
Well, I thought it was because the room wasn't right. Right? So I went down this route. I even went out and found a shelf that matched the units that I had either side of the telly, so I could bolt it above the TV and have the Kinect exactly 6 foot from the floor. Their claim.
So after all this feng shui, how did it work?
Worse than when it was in the compromised setup.
Oh dear.
Absolute fact. What a terrible bit of tat. Every time I walk in a charity shop and see a fallen Kinect for £5, it hurts.
Xbox One, when that launched, it supported Kinect, didn't it? So
We didn't only support Kinect, Tom.
did it come with it?
It had to come with it because according to Microsoft, there is processing power in the Kinect.
Is this where everyone started worrying they were spying on us?
Well, when that first launched, their rhetoric was the Kinect and the console are combined.
Yeah.
It's doing functions for your games, although it doesn't look like it. But then all of a sudden, to hit a price point, the Kinect disappeared, Tom. And I don't remember that console being unable to play any of the launch games or any games for that matter. So
Do you feel like it was abandoned too early, or do you think they should have supported it more like the VR?
No.
PSVR?
What I don't like being done is lied to. I call down Mr. Gates and I say horse poo. Don't you lie to us like that. Don't you lie to us. The Kinect 2 was everything the Kinect 1 should have been. But if you've already handed someone a red hot coal to hold, they're not going to hold it again, are they?
No.
What about the great Kinect game? The sports game? No. And we're going to bring out a sequel where you can climb a rock? No. Please stop it. Give me a game. That, to be fair, mishandling of Kinect or the ramming of Kinect down Xbox One owners' throats.
There was a Fable game as well, wasn't there?
Early, that was on 360. Ramming that down their throats early doors. We get off topic a little bit. Took the Xbox One out the equation as far as I'm concerned. People turned against it who shouldn't have even turned against it. Oh, I don't like Xbox anymore.
First generation I've not bought the console at launch of either.
Well, me too.
Yeah. It's expensive nowadays, though, isn't it?
Shut
More
up and
so.
pony up. Tom, before you dive away,
Yes.
when you got your Xbox One, was it one of the ones that came with Kinect?
No. I think by then they're just doing like a standard one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You waited for them to stop lying about the Kinect and then you bought one.
Right, so next up we've got the muscle of the commando unit.
The Mr. T.
He is
He
the
is, isn't
Mr. T of the unglorious bar stewards.
Well, there's us. You got to be careful.
He backed us up, you know. He said if we want any hand with Ponsonbury there, he would be over.
Boss, I'm in no way imploring violence in your general direction.
He's scared, look at him.
You're practically a father to me. You're like the son I never had. I love you, Ponsonbury. He don't like
Browners.
He don't like
Right, he does not. Well, it's that man, Daddy Zilla 80. You can't forget the skateboard for Tony Hawk Ride on the 360. I remember when I first bought it, Mommy Zilla and I had purchased a trailer and I thought it was going to go through the floor. Maybe I shouldn't have been trying to ollie though. I was smaller than I am now, but I wasn't a small guy back then either. I love that comment.
That's
Excellent.
great, Daddy Zilla. That is a
Popping ollies in the trailer on Tony Hawk Ride on the 360. Great idea that was.
great
Successful franchise to put it behind as well.
Well, it knew all the success, didn't it? Obviously, it took off like a house on fire, Tom. It took off like a hot air balloon full of coal. What's going on there?
So there has been a plethora of other interfaces over the years, but the one that's gone that we miss the most, possibly a forgotten chapter of gaming, the light gun game.
Oh, yes. Fallen Brother.
This is a Corker 2 tracing its way all the way back. What were you trying to say there then?
Breaking the fourth wall, putting on the professional broadcasting voice again. There's been a plethora of other interfaces over the years, but the one that's gone that we miss the most, possibly a forgotten chapter of gaming, the light gun game. This is a Corker 2, tracing its way all the way back to the 1930s with the advent of light-sensing vacuum tubes. Things moved on, and companies like Sega and Nintendo brought the light gun tech to our homes. Now, Tom, talking of light guns, The Village's Picasso on Etsy /comic pictures, no space. The place where you'll find pictures of the village.
It's in his latest Batman one.
No,
It's awesome. It's very good.
Actually,
I suggest you look at it.
Is it the
Fans.
Joker Batman one?
Yeah.
I did see that. He's incredible. Comic pictures. The Village's resident artist, Adam the artist. Tom, do you want to take him or do I take him?
Yeah, I'll go. I'd like to mention light guns. They started off really, really bad, like the one for the NES. Duck Hunt was proper poop. He calls it another name there, but we can't read that out.
We can't. We
we'd
have to
like
find humour without swears.
It's hard.
It is very tough.
We actually used to pay a $5 to rent a NES from a video shop for that tosh. They didn't get a lot better though. The pink and blue ones for Virtual Cop were good. I remember those. Yeah, the Super Scope was pretty good as well. But that gun you got with Time Crisis, oh man, that was the bomb. We figured out if you plugged it in your steering wheel. Sorry, we figured out if you plugged in your steering wheel to a port 2, you could use the pedals to duck and cover mechanic. I never knew that. And I own Time Crisis as well, so I wish I did. which obviously allowed you to use the gun with one hand, and its amazing accuracy made you look like a proper badass. Well, in your head anyway. That was the way, dude.
Very much so. And Adam the artist, to quote unquote, I agree with all of that. Some of it and all of it.
Time Crisis was the one, wasn't it?
The
I
fact
remember
that-
getting the box with the game and the gun after playing it round Cousin Ian's.
What make gun did come with that? Was it a Namco?
Yeah, it
gun?
was Namco.
The G-Con?
G-Con. Well, they did a blue G-Con for Time Crisis 2, I believe, so they remodeled it.
Pause.
Yeah.
I'm going to offer my opinion. That's an incredible light gun, that is.
It is really accurate. So the second one that came after, the blue one, I don't know whether any listeners have used it. From what I remember, where the magazine would have been was a button, so you could tap it on the bottom of your hand, the palm of your hand, like this. I'm demonstrating to him holding a gun. He imagines it well because he imagines Herr Crowther every week.
I'm shaking my head because I know exactly what this will look like. I can see you, head too big for your body, hair too big for your head, waving around, rolling around, tapping
Egon
this,
Spengler hair.
giving it the full-on Bruce Willis. I
Yeah.
can see it now.
And it had a D-pad on the back of it as well. So
Yeah.
where the cock was,
Yeah.
you'd pull that back.
Okay. Is that what it's referred to as?
I believe so. I'm not a
You,
handgun professional.
obviously not. Well,
But yeah, I remember playing that G-Con.
you remember playing with a cock on your G-Con? didn't you,
Yeah, yeah.
Connie? Yeah, I bet you do.
it-
Was this
'cause it-
how old were you during this period?
Oh, 13, I guess.
Big time. Never forget, do you?
No, I think that's about right.
I
What
bet
was it? It was
Mum-
on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
13-year-old playing with that. I mean,
maybe 12.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mumsy had to give you a 15-minute warning to come down for tea, so she could let everything die down a little bit.
Running around. So I played that for the first time on a small, like 12-inch TV screen, whatever, at Cousin Ian's, and it's like that close away from the screen, and we're like, and we thought we were amazing, but when you think about it, would have been a lot better if we were stood further away. It almost felt like cheating being that close to the screen.
Well, we didn't get to talk about these specific, and we're a little bit off topic, so I'm
Yeah.
putting my finger in the script so I don't lose where we are. But I have had a Sega Menacer and a copy of Terminator 2 for the Mega Drive. You know the arcade game?
Yeah.
So they ported it home. And
Did they?
Yeah, they ported it to the home console, and Sega supported that game with their activator gun. I'd never used the 16-bit light gun before, other than the Super Scope, which was relatively okay. This thing I held on the screen on the bad guy I wanted to kill, and I pressed fire and it shot someone on the top left of the screen.
Were you doing that thing we do where we cover for games and like say it's all right? Did you just make out it was a ricochet shot?
Probably made out that I was living in like a post-apocalyptic
no.
future and my gun was worn out.
You've got me thinking quickly of the G-Con again, of just certain light gun games. Point Blank, that was a good fun game. Arcade port, I think.
Best light gun game I've ever played? It's controversial. It's been on the show before. What do you think it is?
Die Hard.
Best
Die Hard
light
trilogy.
gun game I've ever played. Die Hard 2.
See, I had to play that with a controller. I think we discussed this last week, didn't we? And you were like, because I came round Christmas and you had yours
What
set
sort
out
of
with a
parent
light
gets
gun.
you a PlayStation 1 and Die Hard trilogy and don't get you the gun?
I didn't even know there was a gun for it. It's bizarre. looking
That's what
thing,
happens when you secure Christmas presents for your son from a third-rate hokey-cokey guy that delivers knockoff videos to the
It
village.
certainly is.
Well, Tom.
Unfortunately,
Oh, you're having that?
I'll go in if you want.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me do it. Unfortunately, due to the way new TVs work now, we can't dig out the old Walther PPK unofficial turbo gun because even though the game will play, no shots will be recognised on screen. No panic though, law listeners. There are rumblings of a company called Sinden who is seemingly working witchcraft. It's alleged to have developed a light gun of its own compatible with new TVs so you can play those old classic light gun games. They have Kickstarter and some solid working evidence, so please go have a look. If it's your cup of tea, back 'em to the hilt.
Yeah.
Tom, Seeing as I've rocked up all professional for a change this week.
So just, I don't know if you know much.
No,
Sorry,
it wasn't
very
me.
quickly.
Oh, you don't want a confession?
No.
Okay.
With the technology of the light gun, why is there not more? Because the Wii remote had loads of like add-ons where you could put it in like a plastic gun and stuff. And
I think you're answering your own question here.
Why do we not see like a Time Crisis using that tech?
Because the tech that goes with that tech is TAT. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when you get a light gun game for the Wii, you end up with some plastic tat that you have to bolt that into to use it. I mean, the light gun games on the Wii that I've played, where you just point the remote at the screen.
The Resident Evil ones are meant to be quite good, and House of the Dead's on there as well.
House of the Dead, great, yeah. I think House of the Dead 2 and 3 are on there.
Yeah,
because it was 3 called.
I think
Overkill.
that used the blue and pink guns, didn't it? That came with Virtual Cop
on the Wii.
No, on the what would have been Saturn, Dreamcast. No. Was House of the Dead not on the Dreamcast?
House of the Dead was on the Dreamcast.
But no light gun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think it was on Saturn. That's what I think I was saying to you.
Right, okay.
Unless it was, in which case I made a mistake.
No worries. Well, who's here to send us out then? The last comment.
Well, I'm reading it, am I? Okay. Well, let me just reassure the listeners that there's no way that Retro Gamer Thomas can escape the speakers that you're listening to us on. So he's restrained. Although with this veritable banquet of gaming around him, he could be anyone's, couldn't he?
He eats light gun games for breakfast.
Now that needs to go in his that needs to go in his Retro Gamer Thomas Instagram sign off, doesn't it? I eat light gun games for breakfast. Not only have we turned him into a cannibal, we've also now pre-selected his morning meal.
Yeah,
which is a light gun game.
He is the like the howling Mad Murdoch, isn't he, of the Unglorious Bar Stewards? Okay.
Unfortunately, there's only 4 members in the A team, and we've got numerous members, so
we're going to make some up, aren't we?
You need to start signing more roles. Retro Gamer Thomas, Retro Cannibal Thomas, wheeled in by PCSO. The face mask is unclipped on, and he has this to say. Originally, I never really bothered with different sort of controllers, only really light gun games, which I loved. But since becoming a collector stroke console carnivore, he's playing up to his role, I find it quite interesting picking up various unusual controllers, from Dreamcast fishing rods, which I still use and is great fun on Sega Bass Fishing, to Tony Hawk's Ride, stroke Shredboard, which is mediocre at best, and even Guitar Hero. But my favourite of all time has to be DJ Hero. Even from easy level through to hard, it's amazing fun, and all the one of remixes are fantastic. I'm not going to argue with him because he may get a taste for human flesh.
Heaven forbid.
That was the story of the alternative controller, Tom. Did we do you proud?
I'm really impressed with that.
Were there enough facts?
I think so. I hope the listeners enjoyed your research.
Well,
as always,
I just basically curated James's work. And I thought this might be some.
Are you doing his homework for him again?
No.
I pay him, remember, so he better be doing the job.
Listen, they've waited this long. When the big man makes a house call, you'd better be ready. These guys got in touch to show us their pick up some Stingrays boot. You can too. Tom, your lack of speed that you're rushing to your phone with is disconcerting. We all know that it takes you a good couple of hours to log on and catch up, and by the time you have done, we've finished Stingray's boot. You've just said yes and maybe in the right places. Straight up with a picture of Daddy Zilla and his boy. Enjoy. And Mummy Zilla got back to school to eat lunch with the birthday boy. Yeah, they've got a great family unit, haven't they?
Yeah.
The Zillas. They are very kind to us. Happy birthday, Devin. That just popped up. It wasn't even in the boot. But you know what? I'm reading it out anyway because they're good people. Tags. Stingray's boot. That's how we go. Don't type in Stingray's boots because you get to see loads of men in cowboy boots. And there's some things I saw on there that I can never unsee. Tom, I'm in the boot. Do you want me to kick off, or are you still working out how to turn?
Yes, you can. You go first.
First up, he's a man about town. Is a retro gamer dad? All the underscores. What's he got going on? He's picked himself up a copy of God of War. What's this? God of War, the Hydra Battle demo disc, not for resale. Now, I tell you one thing, Retro Gamer Dad, I've never seen that before. Good pickup. He's also got a copy of Scooby-Doo on the Cube, Night of 100 Frights, that looks mediocre, and Tecmo Super Bowl on the PS1. Looks like he's also got himself, was that a Mega Man collectible? I need to like that. Oh, everyone's favourite cat from Australia, Ozcat, who's on TV, .TV. If you need to check that you're missing several thousand games from your collection, here's the man with them all, Ozcat. This week he's picked up Greedfall, that game you were half excited about, Tom, that literally fighting the world to stay alive, and No Man's Sky, the Beyond Edition.
I didn't know there was a physical edition of that.
PS4. They made enough changes where they thought it'd be right to bring out a disc version of it. Why not? Especially considering as it's now obviously VR as well.
Next up, he's a fan of horror because he is a horror-based character.
Oh, he is?
Retro Gamer Thomas. He's picked up Man of Medan and The Walking Dead.
I've got one question
both
about
on
this,
PS4.
Tom.
Yeah.
Looks to me like he's clagging a console in there with composite. That's not going to get you the best picture quality, Retro Gamer Thomas, with your red, yellow and white. Hopefully that's just a mono-only console. Actually, you need to upgrade to a SCART, friend. Man of Medan, Tom. Excited for that?
No.
Okay. Well, if you click in his comments, you can see I'm asking him how that's played out. And I'm thinking of picking it up because
I've read bad things about it. They said it's not as good as the what's the other one?
What have you played the other one?
No.
It's not as good as Until Dawn.
Yes.
I didn't think it ever would be.
So your expectations were not too high to begin with.
I know that this is a one part of a much bigger work. So I think the criticism probably comes a bit early. I also think that I've played their games that they released for the PlayLink one, you know, where you use your phone to interact with the games on the PS4, where you can do as a family, or you can do it as like a couple or on your own. So you play through on there, I can't remember, it's a crime-based game, but you use your phone to interact with it on the PS4. Man and Medan probably could have fitted that category, but they've decided to bring it with the controller.
I never know how I feel about like interactive movie games or those sort of
Mate,
things.
they're really, like, their work is really good.
I honestly think like it's probably
if you
the
got
wife
old,
would probably enjoy that sort of gaming. Like I played through The Last of Us and she just watched it all. Obviously that's like quite a heavy controller based game. And she really loved the story, so I thought maybe I should try like a...
Dude, you need to try out some of those PlayLink games with her. Just for a £5 game, it's really good, and all you need is a mobile phone, and you can play that through. Also, if you get Until Dawn, it's a controller-based game, but I played it as a 2, and we made decisions as we went through, and that's what affected the game. That's what made it cool.
That's cool.
We were making decisions about what was going to happen next in the film or game that we were playing stroke watching. That was incredible.
Yeah.
And it's since then that they've added these extra multiple player options into Man of Medan, so you can have 5 people all deciding how that story outcome goes. It's cool.
I will try the big sell for that then.
You better.
Next up, we've got Harvey Retro, who has a very good YouTube channel, so go check him out.
That's also a flipping good post from an artistic point of view.
It is. He's got the original Doom on the PlayStation. I love those. I think they're real chunky boxes, aren't they?
The double case.
Yeah. And the current Doom on the PS4, which is really good as well. I enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I would, and I got it in a sale, so double win.
Yes.
Next up, PlayStation Guy 87.
Welcome to the show, PlayStation Guy 87.
Yeah, some people, if you're in Stingray's boot, let's just quickly say, input on the show. We want to hear from you.
You're in the boot, get in the show.
Yeah.
Tom, this is a game on PS2 that you had. It's now on PS4. You always forget owning this game. This will be the 4th time.
When did this come out on PS4?
I don't know. It's a limited run game.
Oh, I see. Right, okay. Yeah.
Probably a
Bounty
week
Hunter.
ago.
Star Wars Bounty Hunter starring Jango Fett, I believe.
The one on the you had that on PS2.
Did not have that.
Oh God.
I reckon you have a list of games that I own that I did.
Yeah. Batman Begins on the Xbox original. I realised last week I made an error asking the fans to go look because guess what? The Xbox original didn't keep a record of the games that you played. It was only on editing the show I was thinking, that scoundrel has stitched me up a kipper here. He's took the money off the mantelpiece and left me asking the fans to go check up on original Xbox gamer score. What an idiot I am.
Anyway, let's rattle on through the Stingray's boot.
You never played it then, but is it a good game?
Doubt it. I really want to play that.
Let
Republic
me tell
Commando.
you the excited 12-year-old that was all hyped telling me how cool Jango Fett was.
I was a Mace Windu fan.
Edgy. Ash event. What's he got here, Tom? Looks like he's done a Sharaban here.
Sharaban?
No. Calm down.
I thought when we say his name, we always have to say
No,
it
the
3
Pavel
times.
stocks are not meant to work on us.
Okay.
Ash event has done a Sharaban style picture.
Has he?
Okay. On your phone, there's an app that I downloaded for you called Instagram. You tap on that, then go on the bottom, there's a little magnifying glass. You click in there, you type in Stingray's boot.
I've got it. I'm on there.
Then you click
I'm
on
there.
recent.
I'm on there. Rad Bash Gaming up next. It's got Medal of Honor Airborne, Portal Knights.
Dude, he's got Fade to Black on the PlayStation 1, the sequel to Flashback.
Mediocre.
Actually, a good game. Stood up well.
Happy Joysticks. He's got the Pokemon Nintendo DS titles and a Game Boy Advance and a Nintendo DS.
These are Devin Zilla's party gifts. Dinosaur bag.
Yeah, that looks cool.
SpongeBob lunchbox. Have to confess, I have no idea what that first
Yeah, I
image is.
don't know what the first one is. He's got another selection of birthday goodies.
Wow, is that Bikini Bottom on there, Tom?
Who?
It is, isn't it? It's where SpongeBob lives. Looks like he's got the hideout for that.
I like them dinosaurs.
Whoa, look at the Jurassic Park gear on the next one, if that's what it is. Or the army toys.
I don't know. It's got some Labo, look. And he's got Godzilla on Blu-ray. King of Monsters. I really enjoyed that.
Collector's set Pokemon. You've had a good run here, boy. Hey, look out. You've got Wolfman, a copy of Classic Monsters. Got some SpongeBob videos. Gone and got himself some Nickelodeon slime. Good old boy. Look out, what's he got here? What looks like a Nerf style thing. Clash Combat Adventure Force. There's also the Thunder Tumbler, another remote control device. I tell you what, this was the gift that just kept giving, Devin Zilla. And you've ended up there with some cool looking Swedish fish, some Starburst, what looks to me like some Lego style stuff. Good work, young man. Here he is, the Australian cat on television once again. What's he got?
Some mediocre PS3 games.
Dear GameStop, can I be your spokesman at this point? I decided, like, what? Say sorry, please.
Oh, sorry.
The only one I want you to apologise for, well, there's 2 games on there I want you to apologise for.
Ghostbusters.
There's 3 games on there I want you to apologise. There's 4 games there that I need you to apologise for. The first game...
If I guess them correctly, do I win a prize?
The 4 games... Okay, there's 4 games on there I want you to apologise for saying that they were mediocre tat. If you can pick the 4 games...
Yeah.
That's fun. Listeners are on the edge of their seat now.
Ghostbusters, DuckTales, Ratchet and Clank, Far Cry compilation.
For the listeners, I'm shaking my head. That is a visible representation of no. The games I want you
2
to
out of 3 ain't
apologise. Yeah.
2 out of 4 even.
But let's face it, 50% is nothing. The ones I wanted you to apologise for were DuckTales and Ghostbusters, correct. I also wanted you to apologise for Eternal Sonata and Azura's Wrath. They are not mediocre tat. Everything else, possibly.
Next up, we've got Odders UK.
Don't do it to me on air. Don't do it to me.
Odders UK is thanking us for his script that we signed.
Well, we better
please
not read.
don't forge the signatures.
Also, don't
We don't
read
have
that
any
out
money.
because it would end the show.
It would automatically end.
That's almost like a hand grenade. If that landed on in front of us, the podcast would just end mid-show. It wouldn't matter. So we need to move past that. But Odders, well-earned friend, and it's very unlikely, no offence, that you're going to hang on to that unofficial controller championship for another month. But you never know. You never know.
PlayStation Guy 87 chiming in again. He's got a Silent Line Armoured Core on the PlayStation 2.
Nice to see you in the boot. Welcome to the show. Game Boy Matty. This show's immortal 2-year-old. As I say, when he's 45, he'll still be 2 in my eyes. I'll probably be dead. N64, Conker's Bad Fur Day. A little Conker's... I'll say that was an amiibo, but it's obviously not. He's got the full set there. Game Boy Matty. Dad has been after this one for a long time. Doogie, she's finally come home. That's right, friend. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Look out. Look up next, Tom. Someone who believes their own hype so much they make me sick. The unofficial controller with a guy crane kicking. Probably wants to crane kick that activator clean out the shop, but unfortunately he's stood in the ring of doom and he's executing what can only be described as a half-baked crane kick. Who else we got? Ash Event.
Tony Hawk Project 8.
He's very much in the style of Sharaban, Ash Event. I like what he's doing there. He's got a skateboard.
He's been to see Black Flag as well. If you swipe across.
So he has.
Nice work.
Sharaban.
Call
off the dogs, Tom. Everyone's favourite Frenchman. He's back on the scene. Sharaban.
Ozfest.
Let's bring him up. Sharaban. No, don't. It's only the 3 times. Do we need to do this again?
Sharabang, bang, bang.
I think that was Virgin on legal calling us. But anyway, everyone's favourite Frenchman. He's got every single Guitar Hero in. Guitar. I am from Lincolnshire.
Oh, there's the DS one. I do remember that now.
I knew you would. Same way when you see Bounty Hunter on the PS2 and Batman Begins on the Xbox. Oh, I do remember playing that now.
Oh, I remember having that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look out. Retrovisions chimed in with one of the oldest looking Pong clones you've ever seen in your life.
tennis.
Retrovisions has also got a computer cassette recorder. Wow. I'm liking that.
Game Boy Matty's got the Turtles.
Yeah, Heroes in a Half Shell. He looks like he's secured the full team.
Who is your favourite?
Donatello every time.
Weak.
That's a weak choice because I'm going to pick Leonardo Leeds or the edgy red bandana Raphael because I'm a hard-edged dude. I don't know myself when I'm a bit edgy. I'm closer to... Like, in real life, you're Donatello. Why do you aspire to be these 2 edgy dudes that you're nothing like?
Leonardo ain't edgy. He's like Superman. He's like the Boy Scout. He's just a nerd, isn't he? He's like goody.
So who is it that you like in the Turtles? Let's get the clarity for the listeners.
I used to like Leonardo because he was the leader and he had double katana.
Oh, brilliant. You're playing into my hands. I love what's happening here. So tell me why you now... I'm guessing
Ozcat TV up next with Spyro on the Switch.
This has been an absolute alternative control episode. Will go down as the one where you got reminded. That's all. The Australian cat who likes TV. Is there a controller you don't have? I've referred to those buzz controllers as TAP before, Tom.
No, those 8-bit do. They're really good. They're not cheap either. They're a proper wireless Switch controller. They're really good.
Once again, never hand Tom a loaded gun. I've referred to those buzz controllers, the buzz controllers, as TAT before. I wasn't saying anything about the Wii controller.
Switch controller.
The Switch controller. I was talking about TAT, buzz TAT. Do you remember that game? We ought to have mentioned them in alternative controller, really.
Didn't they do like a Knowles Television Addicts game for that as well?
I think so. If you go to a car boot and don't nearly fall to your death and strangle yourself out on about 1 million buzz controllers, you've not lived.
He's got Wavebird on there as well. GameCube wireless controller.
Oh, yeah, it's up the top.
Yeah.
Well, sat next to that thing that you're willing to die to save the bloody name of.
What, the Dreamcast?
No, that weird-looking Wii controller.
Oh, that was the Wii Pro controller. I would not call that Pro.
I barely call it a controller. Retro Gamer Thomas. Now
First corner of the games room. Completely.
No. This is his bedroom in PCSO Kemp's back bedroom, where, for the sake of the script, Retro Gamer Thomas resides, safe and at home. And if the listeners saw the picture, it's courtesy of Adam Artis, you now know what PCSO Kemp looks like. Bizarrely looks a lot like Ross Kemp, and you know what Retro Gamer Thomas looks like.
Looks cool though, that.
He's got a nice setup, though he's very keen to showcase cleaning gear. Every single picture we've had from Retro Gamer Thomas has showcased his love of Pledge and of a well-used duster, one that's been sacrificed.
Like most serial killers, he's a bit of an OCD.
We're starting to formulate a very, very compelling case against Retro Gamer Thomas. Ash Event has finally cottoned onto Stingray's boot, and he's all over it. He's making Sharaban look like a part-timer.
He doesn't chime in on the show, though, does he?
He will.
He better.
Oh, it's a threat. Anyway, Ash Event quaking in his knees, and the gaming mastodon's gauntlet thrown down. We're both throwing down gauntlets this week, Tom.
Yeah.
I've slapped Finster Game around the chops with a silk glove, and then realised retrospectively that I've bit off more than I can chew, and he will owe me in every single game that he's probably going to present to me, to which case I bow to him. And you've decided you want to take Ash Event in a fight as well. Loyal listener. It's our reward, the loyal listeners. Violence and abuse. Brock the Aces dude. Now, this man stands atop Stingray's boot like no other. He's picked up possibly another record-breaking haul. The only man that came close to him, I'd say, Tom, Daddy Zilla on a good day.
Yeah, maybe they should meet up for trade-ups.
A box of Lego Tat.
Pokemon cards.
Batman versus Superman on...
I've got a funny feeling that Turtles thing is I remember collecting these little coins.
Tom.
Yes.
You've reminded me. I don't know why it took you mentioning the Turtles coins, but in the top of the show, you asked me what I'd been playing.
Yeah.
And I missed out Turtles in Manhattan.
Oh.
On the PlayStation
you did try it then?
3.
Any good?
Really good.
Yeah.
Anyone
Games.
Anyone who's got something bad to say about that game, contact me through the medium of the show, Instagram or Twitter or on the email. I've had nothing but fun with it, and it, to me, played like a solid beat 'em up. It was good. 2-player as well. Fantastic.
Cool. Glad you enjoyed.
Comic pictures.
We better move on.
Oh, no, that's comic pictures.
No, sorry, I was meant from Brock the 80s dude.
Okay.
Yeah, comic pictures. PCSO Ross Kemp and Retro Gamer Thomas.
If you're unsure what these aforementioned people in the show... Tom, we don't want to last too long in there, because Stingray regular Danny Plays is on the scene.
Another one who never chimes in on the show.
Is there any point... Do you think there's ever going to be an episode go by where you actually say to Danny Plays good effort?
No.
Okay, well, I appreciate you. She did crash out the boot on your last comment, and I had to talk her back into it.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry.
I feel bad now.
Sorry, Sir Danny Plays.
Makes a bad dad, eh?
Well, it does. The Tails plush is awesome. She's gone out and picked up an Xbox 360, Tom. She's not mucking about.
Xbox 360 Elite.
You recognise quality, but then seemingly can't.
No.
Retrovisions, what they got here? Not another knit comb. It
looks like a carcass from Retro Gamer Thomas.
One he's picked the very better bits from.
Yeah.
Mark Twigo.
Oh, Tailspin. I had toys of that.
Shame you didn't hang on to them. I'd say they'd be worth some money.
I had both planes. I had that enemy one, and then I had the seaplane.
RWO. RWO.
RWO.
Thought you might come back. Your line in the script, as written by James, was George says RWO on sight of Mark Twigo's post, and Tom says, Tailspin. It's written for you there. What else?
I missed it.
Mark Twigo's also there.
He's got that Wreckfest game.
Yeah. Also, if you zoom in, if you wanted evidence of the Terminator 2 game on Mega Drive that I mentioned earlier. Mark Twigo?
Yeah.
Right on the side of the Mega Drive?
Yeah.
Above Sunset Rise?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good... what's he been up to here? He's tidied up his games room. Well, do you know what? Don't always feel it's got to be pickups, listeners. Within reason, I'll look at anything. within reason. Game Boy Matty, Tom. You ought to be all over this like a rash, because not only is everyone's favourite 2-year-old, it looks like he's also been coerced into picking up some Overwatch figures.
Wonderful. Brought up right.
I wouldn't know what any of those figures were if they slapped me in the face. IA Retro Gamer Dad. What we're looking at here, sir, it's a video.
Junkrat, Brigitte, Doomfist. They're the characters.
Okay. The one listener that actually cares about that slapped you on the back. Everyone else is trying to find out what
It'll
IA
come good again, mate, when it hits
Retro
the Switch.
Gamer
Everyone will know. Sorry.
It's all right, mate. Don't you
IA
worry.
Retro Gamer Dad.
No, we've moved on. You weren't interested.
He's lifting weights.
Mark.garage.gamers, the man who predates the internet. What we got here? What the hell? Is this a pickup?
That's great.
Ghost Hunter.
£20 all in.
Let me say
Bargain.
to you, Ghost Hunter, Hidden Gem, Destroy All Humans, quality game, Commando Strike Force, good little game.
I think moving forward we should maybe have like pick-up of the week. No prizes because we ain't got that much money, but just have...
Do you know, as soon as you said, I was like, oh my God, how much more of the show's money is he going to blow? Okay, Ghost Hunter, worth that pickup and that pile alone, let alone you get a PS2 to play it on, Tom. That's a cracking deal. Well done, Unofficial Controller Podcast. I don't like them being in the boot. I'm not keen on them, if I'm honest. I don't like them. Daddy Zilla. Now, Daddy Zilla, what's he doing, Tom?
He's cooking up a storm, retro storm. He
forgot his own catchphrase.
And it's 557 on the cooker. I don't know why that's degrees. Hopefully not. Otherwise, that would be a plastic mess.
You know, I don't know of any oven, domestic or high end unit, that can go up to 557 degrees C. What hell food needs to be cooked at that temperature?
Retro Gamer Thomas's meals.
I suppose the console's only going to break down to its component parts at 457 degrees.
Absolutely. So he's picked up a Master System. Is that the Master System he was after when he put a call out for it? He'll have to let us know because we're spending too much time.
Well, no, it is.
Yeah.
Read his comment, Tom.
I did.
And there she is, the elusive Master System.
Yeah.
This is the first time I have owned one. Can't wait to check it out. But first, birthday party preparation tomorrow is Devonzilla's party.
Mark Twiggo up next with a nice selection of Mega Drive games, Sunset Riders. Very nice.
Very cool, actually. Oh, Mark Twiggo, the only listener so far to have posted one picture of Street Racer. Now you need to post one. Now you need to post Street Racer, Mega Drive, Game Boy, SNES. What else was it on, Tom? PlayStation 1? Probably on Saturn.
Yeah.
Get us the shots. We want to see them. Get your collections out and show us your Street Racer collections. 3 weeks now. They've let us down.
Sharaban. Wonder Boy on the Master System, Switch, PS4.
Every format that it's ever released on.
Yeah. Who we
The
got next?
Barber Games. I feel like I've seen this before, but let's talk about it.
Hot Shots Golf selection.
Days of Thunder, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
And zoom in on the right there. I reckon that's his collection on those stands. And I think he's teasing us. Days of Thunder video game was on PlayStation 3 as well. Came with a copy of the Blu-ray movie. Holy Funkatron, I need that.
Rad Bash Gaming up next with some Funko Pops and Kylo Ren mug. And
Low Ream.
Boba the Fett mug.
That looks like that mug says Low Ream.
It does.
In my mind. I haven't liked that. Tom.
Stuck in the past.
There's a guy here, look, stuck in the past lane. Now, I think he does these pictures. He like always writes these witty taglines. I know you haven't seen any of his pictures before, and he does them in the style of a Polaroid. And this week's tagline is Mega Drive in movies. I like what he's done there. And now, if you listen to him, Tom, he's obviously trying to reach out and let you know that he's inspired by your good self, following this week's excellent, if he may say so, Unofficial Controller Podcast look back at movie tie-in games. I was inspired to up my collection today. Happy with these. Seemingly someone from the show has put great post, sir. Thank you. Heart eyes. And looks like James from the Unofficial Controller podcast, The Work Experience Boy, was also trying to educate Tom about Stuck in the Past Lane. Do you like his posts?
Yes.
Sharaban. He's got
Shenmue collection.
coming out of his ear holes.
Boba Labour.
Why am I seeing a picture of a shoe?
He's treating himself to some new...
I did say it didn't always have to be pickups from games.
Ah, fair enough. You laid down the challenge and he's treated you to a new pair of sneakers. Ozcat got... This is a milestone post as I've now hit 300 followers. Well done.
Tell you what, Tom.
Almost as many listeners as we have. Stick a few zeros on the end.
You know that picture of Ozcat there, the guy with the beard?
Yes.
That's a placeholder. The real Ozcat is the one perched behind the PlayStation 4 in that picture.
Love it.
That's the guy with the Instagram account. That's the thing with all the games.
Sharaban.
What's he got? Thunder Force
Collection.
All the way up to the PS2, that, Tom.
Radbash Gaming with an array of various levels of quality of game. Prisoner of War, that was another game you probably thought I had back in the day.
It's a game I owned.
This What's Great Escape Gone Bomb Prisoner of War game?
I got that game thinking that it would be more like you were digging and physically escaping, but you were just running around doing fetch quests for other people. It was terrible.
Devin Zilla's got some Pokemon cards, and Daddy Zilla's got some more NES games for a fine NES casserole, he says. Very nice.
I think
and we're back to the turn of the wheel.
Well, Daddy Zilla mentioned to me he'd been talking to a YouTuber, and I think he came up, he mentioned us because this YouTuber was cooking up a retro storm or doing something, and it obviously made Daddy Zilla remember the fine.
We should have maybe give the Commando unit like a famous YouTuber to hit up, really. Like a gamer one.
Now, this is the problem that we have. So at the start of the show, we told them Jeff Keighley. They skipped all the rest of the show.
Can't they split into two teams or something?
Always complicated, aren't you? You want to divide and conquer every time.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it? Are they chasing down Jeff Keighley, or are you wanting them to chase down a YouTube celebrity? I don't think...
A gaming one, obviously. Someone who's going to find us of interest, and not a rival podcast. If you feel the need.
There aren't any rivals, Tom.
Well, no,
we're all friends here.
Oh, I thought you meant as in we're better than them.
No. Well, we maybe are. But the listeners...
We certainly are.
The listeners will be the judge of that.
They know it.
They could hit up Jacksepticeye.
Jacksepticeye? Do it.
Why don't they do both? Because let's face it, they're going to get zero traction with either of them. So when they've exhausted Jeff Keighley and he's blocked them and reported them to Twitter...
And they've had their accounts taken down.
And they're probably going to have to hassle Jacksepticeye on Instagram. But, you know, there's enough of you out there to get us a shout-out or a retweet or something.
Yeah, get us a retweet on a big...
We said we wanted the Commando unit, Tom, to do daring raids. We're giving them one. Grow a set and get it done. Please.
We're back to the turn of the wheel on that, so we need to move on.
That's Stingray's boot. Tom, question for you.
Yes.
That's all the pickups in the boot this week, listeners. Don't forget to hashtag Stingray's boot or email us for your pickups to be read out on air. Like many of you do.
They do.
Tom, it's that time of the week.
Yeah.
I'm keen to know what the new releases are, and there's only one man in our village that has the secret ability to unlock that knowledge for us. He flies around in a seaplate Nissan Bluebird, and in there he contains this week's new releases. Tom, there's bountiful amounts. He's ripping up that path like no one else can, coming to a halt right in front of us. The spring settles, and the boot pops. Time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy of Battle. Oh my God, I've already used all my professional broadcasting credits earlier in the show, so I slip over that almost on purpose. You'd think it was. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy of Battle for Endor this week? These are new release highlights for this week, September 9th to September 15th, 2019. Listeners, these are out on digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast is in your feed, but could be region dependent. Tom, it's a busy week, my friend. Do you have a mummy picked out, ready to go? Obviously, you saved that.
Struggling.
Okay. Well, there's one I thought you would go for on the first page. You've talked about it more than once, and it's not football.
I'll say this first one, Mummy. Mummy, please can I have Blasphemous on the PC, PS4, Xbox and Switch. September 10th. Blasphemous is a punishing action platformer.
No idea what it is at all, but he's picked it.
I've seen it. It was on the Nindies, yeah.
Promise.
I
actually think it's a good game. I didn't know whether you were just getting behind.
Yeah, no, it's
to be stupid.
It's like a.
What is it?
It's a like a hack and slash game, 2D, 16-bit art style. It looks quite good. It's meant to be quite difficult as well, like a Dark Souls level of difficulty. So yeah, that will be my pick.
Okay.
What we got next?
Well, I'm going to have to take the next two because the third one, unless I decide to go completely off the deep end and pick an American sport, probably going to be my Mummy. Although I've expressed doubt on it during the show.
Yeah.
So, do you want to do football?
eFootball Pro Evolution Soccer 2020 out on PC, PS4 and Xbox September 10th. Experience unparalleled realism and authenticity in this year's definitive football game, PES 2020.
What's with that eFootball pre-tag that they've put on it?
I don't know. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it caused James a lot of confusion when he was putting these together. My Mummy, I'm going to throw in on this, why not? Greedfall, PC, PS4, Xbox, September 10th. It's the one Tom wished he could have picked. Engaging core role-playing experience and forge the destiny of a new world, seeping with magic, filled with riches, lost secrets, fantastic creatures. With diplomacy, deception and force, become part of a living, evolving world, influence its course, shape your story. What's next, Tom?
Demons Are Crazy out on PC. Hell's first election is upon us. Do you have what it takes to become the next Satan? Climb the throne in this epic MOBA extravaganza, dripping with blood and guts.
That you'd claim the throne.
Oh, sometimes it's like ascend, like climb the throne. Probably not. Choose FPS, hack and slash, third-person shooter or MMO style demons and reign in hell.
I can't talk, Tom, because I can't say dodgy copy of Battle for Endor. At least not when the script's in front of me. I did it there.
Battle Endor.
Battle Door.
Aldor.
Buy one here, as always. I'll take the RTS because I'm the big RTS fan of the show. Every time we get... Tom claims he is, and every time a new one comes out, he won't do the readout. So I'm all behind this. I'll crank up the green screen, pour some cold water into the cooling vents of the 486 PC, and I'm going to download Men of War Assault Squad 2 - Cold War out on the PC, September 12th. The legendary Men of War RTS series has reached the Cold War era. Take command of US or Soviet soldiers controlling vast armies with military decisions down to you. Claim victory in dynamic single-player and co-op campaigns or challenge fellow strategists in online multiplayer.
Next up, we've got The Sinking City on Switch. This also looked quite good. September 12th. The Sinking City is an adventure and investigation game set in an open world inspired by the universe of H.P. Lovecraft, the master of horror. The half-submerged city of Oakmount is gripped by supernatural forces. You're a private investigator and you have to uncover the truth of what has possessed the city and the minds of its inhabitants. An impressive atmosphere and story inspired by the universe of H.P. Lovecraft. A vast open world that can be explored on foot, by boat and in a diving suit. High replay value thanks to an open investigation system.
Must be exactly like Astral Chain.
Of course. Each case be solved in a number of ways with different possible endings depending on your actions. An arsenal of weapons from the 1920s which to take on the nightmarish creatures. Manage your mental health to untangle the truth behind the madness.
That sounds really cool, Tom. I think it's out on PC already because I
It's
feel like
out.
we've read
Yeah,
this
it's been
already.
out on a few things. It looks really good. It reviewed like average, but sometimes they're the ones. They can be hidden gems. Right?
What in your mind is the dreaded average number?
6, 7.
That's average to you.
I think 5 is verging on like bad, no matter what they say. Like people are like, oh well, 5 is technically half of 10, so that's average. It's not. Not when you look at the quality of what they're giving 5s to.
Okay. Borderlands 3. Anyone who listened to the show with any sense might think we'd pick this out and make a big do of it, but no.
I never really tried it.
Borderlands 3. Are you with us?
Yes.
Need a shot of adrenaline or?
No.
Okay, because we're nearly there. I know you get a little bit tired and blankie comes up and thumb goes in and all that, but, we're nearly there, mate. You knuckle down. Borderlands 3. Return. Better tell you the formats that it's on and the date that it's coming out. PC, PS4 and Xbox. Won't be appearing on the Switch unless it's a top-down shooter version. September 13th, return once more to the over-the-top world of Borderlands in this long-awaited sequel to the acclaimed FPS series. At the hard edge of the galaxy lies a group of planets ruthlessly explored, exploited by militarized corporations, brimming with loot and violence. This is your home, the Borderlands. Now a crazed cult known as the Children of the Vault has emerged and is spreading like an interstellar plague. Only you have the allies and arsenal to take them down. Play as one of 4 all-new, deeply customised Vault Hunters, the ultimate treasure-seeking badasses of the Borderlands. Customise your Vault Hunter with tons of personalisation options. Use their distinct skill trees to tailor abilities to your preferred style. Now, we've played the original Borderlands.
I don't remember playing it.
Add it to the list.
Daemon X Machina.
Borderlands 3, hype for that? You going to get it or not?
Nope.
I was thinking about it. I don't know if it's... I guess it's a full price release, is it?
Yeah.
Has James got a code?
You're not going to play it on your own, though, are you? It's meant to be played, like, cooperatively.
Do you think James has been sent a code for that?
Maybe.
We'll talk to him.
Daemon X Machina on the Switch, September 13th.
Oh, yes.
A mighty war between man and machine rages in Daemon X Machina, a new action shooter packed with fast-paced combat, explosive destruction and a huge array of weaponry. Step out onto a futuristic battlefield and fight for the future of mankind on Nintendo Switch. Out September 13th.
Awesome. If it had been a quieter week, Tom, I think I'd have plumped for this.
Yeah?
Actually, do you know what?
There are some good titles.
I don't think it needs the second page of A4 as a readout for
No.
this. I think the first line will suffice. NHL 20, PS4 and Xbox, September 13th. Return to the ice with NHL 20 and explore cutting-edge gameplay innovations that showcase your skills, more customization options to unlock your style, and new modes to compete with friends. Now, Tom, that is every single waypoint on the way to us going out the door, bar one. What are you hoping to play?
Hoping to finish Astral Chain, go back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, and
Shame.
Shame.
Join in with me, listeners. Shame.
You need the bell.
I haven't. And unfortunately, because you had that prawn vol on this morning, Lord
We've had the bell
Ponsonby,
taken away.
his budget ran out for a bell.
Oh, damn. So Astral Chain, Fire Emblem, and hopefully Link's Awakening. The PS4 is collecting dust at the minute. Not much on it. New-wise. Don't tell me about old games I need to play.
How would I dare? If it's older than a week, you don't want to even know about it.
No, I don't.
So weird. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. No,
Okay.
it'll be Overwatch is banned till Switch Overwatch, so try and keep to that.
Even in the
promise.
show where you...
Oh, now I tell you what, and I forgot to mention this the other week. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I played the 2 versus 2 online alpha. The online beta's out this weekend, and it looks like a return to form.
Why are you dragging the show and me through the coals like this?
Well, I'm just letting you know what I'm going to be playing.
Are you going to get that?
I'll be getting it.
Really? Are you going to get the full price game, or are you just going to have a little play with the beta?
I'd like to get the full price game, but its money is.
Is this one going to
limited at
rock
the
up with what's the one player aspect of this game? Where's it set?
Well, there's no
Forgive my
campaign trailer
ignorance.
yet. There's no campaign trailer, and it's meant to be coming end of this month, I think. So, from what I played, it's just nice to be realistic again and not just like running on walls. And who has a gun that's like sprayed pink and checkered patterns and just no.
What I would say to you...
They've made the right changes.
What I would say to you, COD has probably not been that real since you were able to tread grapes in a French chateau in 3.
I am interested in this new one. I think I'll pick it up at some point. Okay. The problem is, as we've found with those games in the past, if you miss the first week or two, you go online and you get wrecked.
Tom.
What have you been... what are you hoping to play?
I don't even want to say, because that would have been a really... As soon as you're wrecked, the games are wrecked, this show's wrecked, and that's all we've got time for. But I'm going to have to tell you what I'm hoping to play.
Yeah.
I have to confess, I'm going to have to go on the road again. So it's the one-man show, the one-man road show. So I'm probably...
Antiques Roadshow? Retro Antiques Roadshow?
I'd probably class as retro. I'm not quite antique yet. The time will come. Where I'm probably going to have to play on some handheld stuff. I might get back for the weekend. What day is it today?
Wednesday evening.
So obviously, because that's when we'll record the podcast. I'm hoping to spend some time at home on Friday, but I think we're away again at the weekend. We're going to go to Friends Fest. Do you know what that is?
No. Is that to do with the TV show?
Yes, it is. Sharp as a razor, as always, Tom. Nothing gets by you.
How can you watch that?
It's a show that's not light out with a new episode this week, so it's dead to me.
It was dead to me in
We
the
quite
90s.
like the show, and they're bringing the sets on tour.
Are they?
Yeah, so you can sit in the Monica's flat. You can go round to Joey and Chandler's and get a shot of you playing fussball.
I just never get a lot of laughter track comedy like that. It's like he walks through the door and it's like ha 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 ha. You're like, huh? It's a bit like the Fonz walking through the door. Like, hey.
I think how you describe your reaction to the Friends series sitcom is pretty much how I see you interacting with life. Like there's people, and you just sort of walk into a room and be like, hey Tom, and you're like, ha ha ha. You very eloquently done. What am I going to play?
Friends the game? Surely that's a thing.
It is on PS2. Yeah, I think it is, yeah. I think it's on Xbox Original as well. It's probably on Wii in that case.
You own that, don't you remember?
You did used to have that. No, that's the game
Did
you
I?
didn't. No, you didn't used to have that. Listen, Tom, at 1 hour 57,
Oh
plus
my
10-second
goodness.
intro and a 10-second outro, we are testing people's patience. So I will say,
Adieu.
I'm probably going to play Warriors on PSP.
Excellent.
On the Vita, which is a bizarre experience in itself. I'm probably going to have another go at Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 2, just to keep you happy and have another go and let the listeners know if I've advanced my opinion or de-advanced my opinion. And if I actually get my rape alarm again, it's the end of the show, back up. If we ever get the time to be back at the bunker properly, I will play some Yakuza 2. Kiwami.
Excellent.
Is that
all we've got time for?
Yes, it is. And that's all we have time for this week, listeners. As Vince the Gamer will say, as always, thank you for your time. And we look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Tom.
See you, mate.